Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our monthly webinar today. It's 9:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Erin Kopek, and I'm the marketing coordinator for Extra Help. And you've joined us today to tune in and listen to a little bit about social media management for your business. We will begin momentarily. The call will last about 1 hour. You are set up as listen only, but there will be an opportunity to ask questions. There is a questioning function down at the bottom of your taskbar. Feel free to type in those questions as we go, and I will try to address those as we see them. We also will be taking questions at the end, so just feel free to do as you please with that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce our speaker, Tom Harness, with Harness Tech Ed. Tom Harness is a former U.S. Army veteran, teacher, educator, entrepreneur, and current business owner with 20 years of combined experience. He is an avid supporter of empowering and educating business owners and leveraging all forms of technology to increase revenue and efficiency. He currently owns Harness Tech Ed, a digital marketing firm that focuses on social media, WordPress SEO, email marketing, content blog writing, and consulting. His team works with businesses and organizations on maximizing their digital marketing to work collectively together and ensure the best reach to their current and potential customers. Harness Tech Ed places priority on quality content and data-driven reporting to increase return on investment, ROI, so contact his team at Turn the Light Bulb On for you today. So Tom, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to begin our presentation.
We're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to test out the video cam today. And that way, sometimes it's nice to put a face with the presentation. Thank you, Erin, and I also want to thank Extra Help for the opportunity to present to your group. And I hope that everybody gets a chance to ask questions and learn a little bit something new about how social media you can manage it and for your business. So we'll go ahead and get started right away. Like she said, my name's Tom Harness. I have a team of 3 people that help me work very well with other businesses and organizations. They are Lee Caldwell, Ashley Watson, and Megan Chop. And together we work really hard to help our clients feel like they're business partners with us and not just a number or a revenue or a dollar sign for us. So let's go ahead and get started, and there'll be some opportunity to answer some questions throughout here to kind of break it up. So we'll go ahead. Oh, got a little ahead of myself. There we go. A little bit of a lag. All right, looks like we might be missing a slide here. Give me just a second. Erin, can you go ahead and take a look at that and just escape real quick? It looks like we're missing a slide.
Is this supposed to be the second one?
Yes. All right, well, we'll just work with that one. That's fine. You can go back in. Technology, always be prepared.
All right.
All right. So one of the things as a business that you need to always constantly, or an organization, remember is how much time should you actually spend and where should you spend it. And I've kind of narrowed it down to 4 areas that I think that as a startup business or a small organization or even a large one, you can focus on and be able to maximize the efficiency and the return on investment, because that's really what it's about. It's not just about posting, tweeting, plussing things just to do it. There has to be a reason behind it, and turn it into dollar signs. So we're going to focus on, there we go. So we kind of have freedom is 4 steps away. And I always kind of like to either bring music or movie or something into all my presentations. So obviously this is The Great Escape with Alcatraz. And sometimes it feels like, I know Erin knows, that you can become a slave to social media. And it's all about just getting things out there and posting and posting and posting. And then if you do it right, you have to manage it, which means you've got a lot of engagement. So you just can't talk to someone, pose a question, and then walk away. You have to continually be interactive with them. So freedom is 4 steps away, and this is the 4 that we're going to focus on today. Maybe.
Is it clicking for you, Tom?
No, it's not. There we go. So we're going to focus on these 4 steps, and they are: have a plan. Make sure that as you go through this, there is a reason why you're doing what you're doing. And it's kind of like when you started a business or organization, you have a business plan. Well, this is kind of a marketing plan, and the marketing plan or the digital plan is just setting up what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and then how you're going to hold yourself accountable. Schedule. The best way to do this to make it manageable is to schedule it weekly, daily, and then go back and adjust accordingly on things that you have posted that have been successful and not successful. And the biggest thing, and I think that what most businesses and organizations fall on the way, is not reviewing the analytics. It does take time. It doesn't necessarily have to be complicated, and you don't have to have an economics degree to understand it. It's mostly about looking for reach and how many people are actually seeing what you're posting, because that's the most important part of this. And then be consistent. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, a lot of them are looking for consistency, and that consistency is about making sure that you're not posting just once a week or twice, because in their analytical scheme, they're telling you that you cannot do that, and it affects your reach. It affects your long-term goals of your digital plan. So we're going to break down each one of these and talk a little bit more. And please feel free to jump in at any time and ask questions. All right, so to get us started off, what is the most tweeted photo? I'm going to show you 3 photos here, and I want to see what people put over on the right here. You can put 1, 2, and 3, or you can just take the picture. Let's see, which one of these is the most tweeted photo? We'll see if anybody's actually, they're just listening along. Can we go ahead and unmute this real quick, Aaron? That way if they're just listening, they can chime in.
Let's see. Just 1 second here. I'm having trouble getting it to work, Tom. We have some responses. We have middle, number 2, selfie, the middle photo, Ellen, J. Beebs. Lots of number 2s.
On the left, this was the most tweeted photo, which was Barack Obama and Michelle, and good job. So that means everybody's kind of up with at least the Oscars, or tweeting for that matter. All right, Aaron, if you'll go ahead and give me the control back, I'll move on to the next slide.
You got it.
Got it. Thank you.
Sometimes it's a bit delayed, but it'll work.
It's okay. I think I went too far. Nope. Okay. So let's talk about the plan. And plan is a lot about playing chess or checkers. You really need to sit down and think about what's going to be encompass the entire project and make it realistic. So we'll go ahead and start off with that, which is start small. Many organizations and businesses ask the question, I don't know what I need to be on. What should I be on? What should I post? How do I do it? Start small. You don't necessarily have to have every single social media account. unless you're really a big organization and you think that you can attract customers and get a return on investment. Obviously, a lot of businesses focus on Facebook, but Facebook is typically kind of hard to generate return on investment back because this is your established clientele, and it's mostly about having people up to date or help kind of give you referrals. So the goal of Facebook is mostly about connecting and sharing and allowing your existing clientele to promote your product for you. Twitter, tweeting is really good about new business and finding new products because people are looking for something new. Hashtags are used in that area. LinkedIn is great for business to business. So if you're an organization looking for businesses to support your group, or you're looking for businesses because your service industry goes with that, or you sell a service to that business, then that's what you're going to look for. And there's been a huge rise in LinkedIn and referrals. So it's a great organization, it's a great business, it's a great social media to have. So start out small. Don't think that you have to conquer everything, and I think probably what most people are comfortable with is Facebook. All right, so as you're choosing your social media wisely, make sure you understand your demographic, the people that you're looking for, the people that you're selling to or that you're trying to get funds to raise from. It's very important to really just think about what it is that what you want and what your goal is. All right. So the next part, and this is one of the things that we address a lot, and that's setting up accounts. So there are right ways and wrong ways to set up your business accounts. So a lot of businesses will set them up as a person, and that's a big no-no. And you need to make sure that you set it up and establish it as a business or an organization. And if you do that, you have a lot more options as far as analytics, not getting blocked down the road, and then it just allows your business to be better strategically placed as social media moves forward, because they will be locking down, especially Facebook, if you're using a business as a personal page. So setting up the accounts is very important. Making sure that you don't set up a business on like Facebook as a group page under you. It needs to have its own page. It needs to be a business, and put the time into thinking about how you want it to look, and make sure that it's consistent across the board through all your social media accounts. Be consistent. So in the plan, have something where you actually have every day or every week you're going to sit down and dedicate X number of hours towards your digital plan or your social media plan. What happens is small businesses, when you start out, it'll start to grow slowly and slowly and slowly, and then you realize you no longer have the time to be that consistent presence on Facebook because your goals are actually there. The plan that you had to use social media to build your business is working. So now the one-man, two-man show needs a little extra help, and that's where we come in at Harness Tech Ed. But that also means as a business you need to address that because it's important for you to grow, and it's important for you to have that social media, which means you're going to have to either outsource it or you're going to have to bring it in-house or hire someone. And it's very important because you want to continue to grow your business on social media. All right, and we kind of alluded to this, but know your customers. Are your customers online? Are they on these accounts? Is the demographic that you're going for 18 to 25? Is it 25 to 40? Is it 40 plus? And the biggest thing is don't make assumptions about your clients. Sometimes as a business owner, and I do this too, and that's why I have a wonderful team, we're so far in the forest that we can't see the trees. And what that means is that sometimes we make our own assumptions about our customers, and we can't. And that's where tying this into the analytics later is very important. But don't make any assumptions. And then the other thing is don't be nervous to go out and try to get another demographic or different market to bring into your business. Sometimes it's best to think outside the box. Be specific and targeted. One area that I see a lot of small businesses and organizations not do, and that's look for your demographic and go after them. If it's a region, if it's a specific topic, if it's an interest, those are the things that you need to know about your customers. we live in an age now where all of our customers online are kind of connected to our business, and we really do need to know them. We always talk about connecting with our customers, but now we're connecting with them in a different way, and that way is online. So really knowing how to do that. And Twitter's very good about that. If you utilize hashtags in Twitter, you can go in and easily start targeting new customers, new clients, find out what they like about your business, what they don't like. You can find out about your competition, but be specific and targeted. Make sure you know what you want to do, who you're going after, and have a plan to do that. Biggest thing, step outside of your comfort zone. Back to the trees analogy. As business owners, we get these blinders and we go straight ahead, and we read and we get all these people telling us how to do things, myself included, and we don't necessarily understand what we want to do, how we want to do it, but we do have to take a step back and say, listen, I need to step out of this for a second and see how social media is going to affect my business. Not only now, but in the future. Because a lot of the stuff that we do for our clients is we strategically place them not just for today and tomorrow, but for the future. Because we want to make sure that they are ready to go. And in the Midwest area, we're typically behind 3 to 5 years. So if we can kind of get those businesses to buy in as early as possible, as we catch up with the technology in the outer areas of East Coast and West Coast, we can really strategically place them to have a better business model and be ready for any of the changes that might be coming to social media or digital marketing. So step outside your comfort zone. And the next thing on your plan is you have to decide forward. Employees are important. Remember, you hired them, or the person that you hired to hire them did, and you need to decide what you're going to do and what's their place in social media for your business. Are you going to allow them to actively interact with customers online? Are you going to have them promote your business? Are you going to have them hands-off? Lots of other questions there, but you as a business and a business culture, you have to decide on what you want. And make it and give your employees time to actually do that. Extra Help is a perfect example of that. They allow time. The owner allows time for them to specifically go on LinkedIn, post and interact. In fact, they've got goals and requirements, I believe, weekly, and it's important, and it's helped their business grow. And as an outside customer sees, the customer sees that not only is the business embracing social media and digital technology, digital marketing, it's allowing its employees to. So in my mind as a customer, I'm thinking, oh, so when I go into this business, they're all going to be on the same page, they're all connected, they're all working together, because that's what we really want to know, because there's nothing more upsetting than an upset customer going in and talking to someone and then talking to another person and hearing something totally different. So if you go in the mindset that your business is going to have everybody on board, have it. Now the business owner side of me says make sure you have policies and procedures in place and make sure that it's something you're comfortable with and that your employees are. Because if the employee goes crazy, if they decide they just want to start being blasphemous about the business, you need to have things in place legally to be able to protect your business. It's really not as big as what you might think. It's mostly just being upfront and honest with the employees and asking them, how do you want to be involved and getting them on board. Before I move on out of the plan, are there any questions in this area? I'm trying to see over here on the side here. I don't think I see the questions pop up, so Aaron, I'll let you tell me if we have any questions.
Sure. I do not see any questions right now.
All right, excellent. All right, the next part that's very important is to schedule. Having that schedule in place kind of works back to the consistency. And being consistent is going to help with your analytics. These are all really tied close together. So one of the things that we use is we set time specifically for social media, and we have a content management program that we use called Asana. and we've assigned it weekly, monthly to do specific things for us. And we know that it's on our to-do list, and it allows us to make sure that we go in and address everything that we need to for our clients. As a business, you can also utilize Asana, and it's a free cloud-based software. But the other thing we use to schedule is Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a content management system that pulls your social media feeds into one place, and you can schedule and post. We are an authorized reseller of Hootsuite, so if you are interested in that, please let me know, and I'll be happy to get you some information and shoot you over a link for that. We try to be very transparent and let all of our customers and businesses know that, you know, what we do, you can do. We focus on the content, and we take it off your plate, and we free up time. Those are the two main things that businesses work with us on. All right, so we talked about using the content management system. All right, so the next part of scheduling is monitor the posting. Even though we use a third party, it's almost like an employee in the sense that it can't work 24/7, 365 days a year perfectly. So you still need to audit and make sure that things are going out and looking appropriately and looking great. That's important. So you've got to monitor the posting daily to make sure that what's going out is, one, spelled correctly, and we'll get to that in a second, and is the content and it's actually being posted, and if it is being interacted with, are you interacting back with? So just because you post and you schedule doesn't mean your hands are off and you're done. You need to make sure that you go through and follow up and engage. All right, so edit the posts and review. If you make a mistake, and we're all going to make them, make sure that you go back and edit the post. Because if you continually start to have posts that are grammatically incorrect, then it does send an image to not only your competition, but it also sends it to your potential and existing customers. And though it might not seem as a big deal today, it really is, depending on the business, especially if it deals with education, universities, organizations. There's always that one person out there that wants to edit and catch you in the gotcha moment, and you can edit those. Unfortunately, under Twitter, the only thing you can do is go back in and delete the post and redo it. So spending time or auditing or having somebody review it prior to going out really does help. Any questions about scheduling, Hootsuite, content management?
I do not see any questions, Tom.
Excellent. All right, time for another question. What % of social media users access from a mobile device? Let me give you some choices here. See if it comes down real quick.
We do have a question that just came in on Hootsuite, Tom.
Okay, let me put these down and then we'll... All right, what's the question on Hootsuite?
Okay. Is it easy to post pictures and infographics through Hootsuite?
Yes and no. My suggestion that we've been kind of working with is really what the whole purpose of Hootsuite or even social media is to drive traffic back to a specific place. That's either your website, have them call you, like a call to action, have them go to your website, have them call you, or have them actually come to your business. So images become a little bit harder on Hootsuite. You have to tie them in with a Twitter account, for one. But what I like to do is if you can pull the images off of a blog post that's already on your page or an image that's on your page, then what happens is it'll pull that image automatically when you do the URL link, and then it pulls it up, so that way when they click it, instead of going somewhere else or not going anywhere, it directs traffic back to your website. So again, it's kind of like this whole circle of connecting everything together. You can just upload an image individually, and those are just fine, but again, it does have to be attached to a Twitter account, so then you can send it to Facebook and so forth, but it does work. All right, so let's see, what do we have for answers for what % of social media users access from a mobile device?
See, we have 8% 89% to 89%. Anybody else have a guess? I don't see anything else coming in. So it looks like 89% is the choice here. Here we go, 71%.
So how many we got for 71, and how many we have for 89?
We have 2 for 71%, and then we have 4 for 89%.
89 would be a very good guess. The actual correct answer is 71%, which is still over half. When you think about that, what percent of social media users access from a mobile device, that's staggering that over half are just on their phone and interacting. I have no doubt that we'll probably be at 89% within 3 to 5 years, if not soon, but 71% is still huge, which means another reason for businesses and organizations to be on social media. And there is a huge rise in mobile devices and access. We see it all the time. We see the pictures of the person walking down the street tweeting and looking at feed. We see them everywhere. First thing in the morning, people get up and use it before they go to bed. I've seen it in church. You know, people are using social media all over the place, but 71% is a number that as a business and organization you have to take seriously, and that means that you need to have a presence. You need to make sure that it's strategic, that it's methodical, that it's ready, you've got a plan, and you can move it, it's adaptable, and you can build your business moving forward. Very important. All right, so let's move on.
There is another question, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
There was one that came in. It says, I have a question about, and then pardon my pronunciation, is it sauna?
Oh,
I have not heard of this. I have not heard of this. Where can I go to learn more?
Excellent. It's and I'll be available for all this afterwards, but it's asana.com, Asana. I think of it as a group to-do list. I think is the best way to do it. Honestly, we just instituted this in my business probably last week, 2 weeks ago, and it's increased our efficiency drastically. It really helps us all to be on the same page. It also allowed us to not have that bombardment of email. As I built my business, I knew that we were going to have to be scalable, but we got to that point where email wasn't cutting it anymore. It was just too many emails, so we needed to centralize it. So I started looking at other services that we could do to manage our clients and be more efficient and keep up with some of our goals. And Asana was the most cost-effective one with the best resources that I had. And again, it's asana.com. All right. Review analytics. So this is my favorite part of the business that I have, and that is trusting my colleagues, my team, my wonderful team, to go out and post this really great content and be methodical, give them information back to adjust their posting each week, and seeing our businesses grow. If you don't have this component, then you're just posting to post, and there's no reason and there's no rhyme. It does take a little bit of time, but it's exciting because as you dive into it, you really get to understand your customers and your clients online, and you know where they live and where they come from, and you can find out great things about your business as far as where you can go next to expand. So you might find that Collinsville or St. Louis has a huge following on one of your social media feeds, and you don't really sell there. So you can really start taking a look and say, hey, is it possible that I can move my business, or I can start selling my services or items there and increase profit? So it really opens up a whole new world of your business when you start diving into the analytics. And what's great about it for digital marketing is you can kind of correlate what's working and what's not. You know, radio, TV, newspaper work very well, but it's always hard to really kind of pinpoint and see how it's working effectively for your business and how you can kind of tie it back. With digital marketing, we really can tie a lot of numbers back to likes and engagement and reach, and we can give you kind of a ballpark figure of saying this is where I think it's costing you per person per lead. And it's simple as how much did you spend, how many leads or likes did you get, and then dividing it, and then going from there. And hopefully you're not spending over $1.50 or $2 per lead, because that would be a really good target from an analytical standpoint. All right, so Google Analytics. Google Analytics ties with your website. We work primarily and only with WordPress websites, but Google Analytics works with all websites. It's simply a code that you can add into your programming on the back end of your website, and it tracks all the traffic coming in and going out. Now what's great about that is it allows you to tie that in with your social media, and then you can see, okay, how much is my social media driving traffic back to my website? You can pinpoint that. And then what you can do with that is you can say, all right, Facebook and Twitter are both equally driving traffic back to my website. So I must have a pretty good presence there. So I might want to start looking at advertising or marketing or spending some money on Facebook and Twitter to drive more traffic to my website, because there seems to be a market there. What you don't want to do is not look at the analytics and just say, hey, I'm going to boost this post, I'm going to promote these tweets, and I'm going to do this LinkedIn, and not see if it's driving traffic back to your website or driving traffic back through a phone number specifically. So having a call script, even though it's kind of old school, it's another analytics tool that you can use to tie back in with your Google Analytics to see how many people are actually calling me. And when they come in, you can just simply, when they ask and they talk, and just say, hey, how did you hear about us today? And they could say, oh, I saw it on Facebook, or I saw it on Twitter, TV, radio, whatever, and you can have that. So it's another way to hold yourself and even myself, if you outsource or you work with us as a business partner on your digital marketing, we can go back and tie that in. So Google Analytics gives you the data on what social media is coming in. It also lets you know the demographics. Where are people looking at your website? It'll also let you know where to, what pages they're going to. And then one of the questions I get the most is, what is the bounce rate? What is so important about the bounce rate? Bounce rate is simply when someone comes into your website and then they simply leave. The goal of having them come to your website is not only coming there for whatever reason the link sent them there, but it's to also look around and find other avenues or other interests that they have on your website. So the higher the bounce rate is not necessarily good for your business, because what that means is it could be that they're just not interested and then they're leaving. So that says that maybe your website needs to be updated, maybe it needs to be rebranded, or maybe you need to strategically place your web pages a little bit better. So the industry standard is you want to keep your bounce rate under about 30%. So if you're getting up 50 or 60 or over half, that means that people are only going there for a specific reason, and then they're just turning around and leaving, which is not good. All right, so Google Analytics, if you have a website and you have your IT guy or your web developer, they need to have that on there, give you access, and then you can automate some simple reports to go out weekly, and then you can review those. If you have questions about Google Analytics and that, we do for about, I don't know, maybe 10% of our clients, we sit down and we work with them on the Google Analytics, and we explain to them what's going on and how it's working. So that's a service that we can also work with you on. All right, social media analytics. The biggest thing here is do not get hung up on how many likes you have. The best way I can tell you this is, as a business, you could have 5,000 likes, but if you don't break down the analytics side of it, that doesn't mean anything. Those 5,000 could be overseas, and if you don't sell overseas, they're not potential return on investment. They could be people outside of the area. They could be just family and friends. They're not actual what we'd call leads or customers or potential customers. That's what you want. So having a big 5,000 number is more of a vanity thing, and it does look good. It does, as a branding point, it does legitimize your business. It makes it look bigger and very important. But from a return on investment standpoint, it doesn't necessarily translate to the dollar signs that you really want. And that's what that's the approach that we have with social media is it's another tool. It's a marketing tool to help increase revenue for you. And it can be a very cost-effective way. The other thing is on social media, look at the demographics, where people are, their age. Look at when the best time to post is, when the best time not to post is. And then that's really kind of the two areas that I like to focus on. And then the reach. So the reach is out of that 5,000 people, how many people are actually seeing your post? And this is mostly in reference to Facebook. So out of the 5,000, how many are seeing it? If you're seeing that only 50 people are seeing your post out of 5,000, red flags should go up and you should say, whoa, what's going on here? And then it kind of kicks in. It could be the time of day. It could be the content. There's a lot of things that it could be. So you definitely have to look at your analytics from a data standpoint. All right. And then we just talked about reach versus like versus engagement. Now with Facebook, engagement's very important because they've recently changed a lot of their analytics to really include engagement a lot more. So it's not just as important to like a post as it is to engage. And the more that you can get them to engage, the bigger the reach is. And that's really the goal. Because think of your post as a billboard on the interstate. And the more people drive past that and see it, the more chance it's going to stick with them and your brand is going to brand with them. So if you can get that engagement up and get that reach up, then more people are going to see that post and connect with it over and over and over. And then with the analytics, then you need to decide if you had a post and you've got 5,000 people following you, how can you adjust it if only 20 people saw it? And then just don't keep doing the same thing over and over. Facebook is notorious for, if you keep doing negative things, it does affect your analytics, and it's really, really hard to get momentum back. We worked with a client for a little while now to get them out of this Facebook purgatory, if you will, where things were posted and then they just stopped and then they came back. And now what we've done is we focused on content, we also focused on consistency, and then that's really helped them, and we're slowly building back up and giving credibility to the analytics that Facebook has for them, and it really has helped, and we're very excited about that. Analytics. We talk about, this is all supposed to be tied into managing. You can definitely automate the reporting on this, and that's one way to streamline this, but you definitely need to spend some time on analytics, whether you like it or not, if you're going to take your digital marketing seriously on social media. Any questions in this area under analytics?
I do not see anything right now. I'll let you know if anything comes in.
All right, excellent. We're kind of ahead of the schedule here. We're doing pretty good. All right, so let's go to be consistent. And I put this photo in here for a reason, because it seems to be one of the, I don't personally watch Scandal, but it seems to be one of the most talked about shows. And being consistent will kind of tie into that in just a second. All right, so being consistent means posting frequently to stay relevant. So what does that mean for your business? Does that mean that you need to post and tweet every hour, once a day, in the morning and the evening? It really depends on your industry, and it also depends on how much time you have available. If you schedule it, then it's a piece of cake. So posting frequently means something different on Facebook than it does on Twitter. So on Facebook, the more engagement that your post gets, the more it's going to be seen over and over again, or it's going to come back through a feed. On Twitter, it's posted and it's gone. So you can tweet a lot more to be consistent on Twitter than you can on Facebook. But it still needs to be relevant, and you don't want to tweet the same thing over and over and over again. It needs to be varied, and it needs to be specific, back to being targeted again. So you've got to stay relevant. So if you get to that point where you're starting to see a slide and you're not posting at least every other day, and we recommend posting every day, then you need to start looking at how can we get back to being consistent. All right, so keeping an eye on trends. That's what kind of tied in with Scandal. So part of being consistent is there's certain topics and certain hashtags that are trendable, which means the more that they're used, the more that people see them. Example, Scandal. We know the season finale is coming up, and even though I don't watch the show, I know all about it based on online through hashtags, through Facebook, and just through everything that everybody's posting. So the season finale. For example, if you hashtag Scandal or you use the word Scandal on a post, you're probably going to get an extra boost, if you will, from Facebook because they call it trending. And trending is just a topic they see that X number of people are really using that word or that hashtag consistently during a certain period. And they kind of go in and they say, anybody that has this word in it, I want you to boost it up or post it. So it's kind of something, it's a built-in boost. So if you can stay up with trends or you can kind of know what's going on or predict trends, this works really well. My team does a great job of this, and that's just because we're varied in age and experience and interest, and that really comes in handy because I would have not necessarily known about Scandal if it wasn't for some members of my team, or other words. So we had CMAs last week. That was a huge one. What else was St. Patrick's Day? Easter will probably be a very trending word. Some baseball. Opening day was huge. World Series when baseball comes out. Any other sports? We have hockey. So sports are big. Music, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Kiss was inducted into that. So Nirvana. So those were words that were, if they were used, they were trending, which means they were moved up. And Facebook and Twitter and everybody realizes that. So keep an eye on trends. So this is when I tell my wife, thank you for the People magazine, because, hold on, sorry, because it allows, interruptions, great, it allows those topics are very important and very trendy, but you can also kind of keep up with it. So People magazine and RSS feeds and everything else really kind of comes in handy when you're trying to find out what's trending or what's important. So, all right. So, monitor time spent. Now, this is very important because we're approaching this from a business standpoint and from a marketing standpoint. And what that means is you need to really look at what the return on investment is. How much time are you or an employee or an organization, if you work with us, Harness Tech Ed, how much is that time worth to me? How much is it really costing me? So
it seems like we're losing you, Tom. I cannot hear you anymore.
going on. And then you can find out that you're paying someone to post and do your social media, and they're spending way too much time, and they should be working on another part of what you should be, how much time you should and you shouldn't. There's all kinds of research out there on if you spend X number of hours a day, this will increase this, which is great. To me, I think that we base ours off of 1 to 2 hours a week, depending on the business and what package they go with us on. But it is important to designate an X number of hours and make sure you stay within that, because otherwise you could spend all day and it'd be a waste and not really worth your value. I think that's all I had on this one. Are there any questions about being consistent, trends, monitoring time?
Tom, we did have a question pop up about Google Analytics. They're wanting to know what the cost is.
Oh, great. So Google Analytics is free. You basically, if you've got a Gmail account, you tie it in, and that's the other thing. If you do anything for your business, please make sure that you keep business and personal separated. So create your own account that you own as a business owner or an organization. It shouldn't be someone from outside. You need to own all the information and have access to that at all times. It shouldn't necessarily be an employee within your organization either. It needs to be someone that's a senior management that has access to it at all times. But Google Analytics is free. You just have to have a Gmail account. You sign up, and they'll assign you a tracking code, and then they'll give you a little snippet of code that you can copy and paste and give to your web developer, or if you're doing it yourself, you copy and paste that in. If you have a WordPress site, they have plugins already readily available that allow you to simply install the plugin, put your code, and that's it. It applies it to everything. It does take a little bit of time to sync and to authorize, so give it at least 24 to 48 hours. But after that, you can use Google Analytics to start collecting data. And then what's great is once you get 30 days in, you can compare it to the previous month, and then you can start looking at it a little bit closer. And it highly recommend, if you have a website, if you even have Google Analytics on it, get access to those reports because they will help you. Anything else?
I don't see anything else at this time.
Okay. We'll move here. All right, so another question. What % of small businesses attract new customers through social media? This will be a really good one. So we have 35%, 65%, and 78%.
The answers are coming in.
What do we got so far?
All right, it looks like we have 3 people guessing 35%, and we have 4 guessing 65%.
So would anybody be amazed if it's 78%? Yeah, it's 78%, and these come from a poll. So if you want more specific information, I have these. I didn't put them in here at the time, but 70% of some small businesses that were polled, or 70 out of the small businesses that were polled, 78% said that they attracted new customers through social media. And that could be, with polls, we have to kind of take them for face value, but this was one that I saw posted more than once, and I thought it was very interesting because we're talking about new customers. As a business owner or an organization, we're always about trying to find new clients and then retaining them. But to know that 78% are going is huge, very, very big number, and it's also another reason why social media needs to be taken serious in a business. All right. Okay. So some other factors. Many of you have probably seen this wonderful baby memmed over and over. I like this one. It says success because you too can own this space of pure accomplishment. And that's what it's about. At the end of the day, when you get this in and it's a kind of a well-oiled machine and you've got a digital plan in your social media, it runs itself and you have this amazing opportunity to grow your business in a way that you can analyze, you can have a little bit of fun, creative voice, be creative, and grow it. And that's what it's about. It's not about being on the next big thing to just be there because every other business is. It's separating your business from everybody else's and saying, listen, I know there's an important part about social media, and this is what we're doing to grow our business and use it effectively. And that's what excites us, and that's what we like to do for our clients. So here's some other factors that we need to focus on. Content, content, content. I am a huge, huge advocate of content. There's a reason why newspaper and other forms of media have been so important and lasted as long as they have, and that's because of content. And social media is definitely allowing for people in those industries to have a new start, a new beginning, a different way to utilize their talents. And it is about writing quality content, but tying it in with data. So that's the only area that might be new to some of those other medias, is that we're now tying it in, and we're looking at it from a number standpoint of, if we use X number of words or hashtags, we can increase our writing reach. So the content is just very, 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 very important. So whoever you have do your social media, make sure they can have your voice, they write well grammatically, and they can give you content that's different, it's unique, it fits with your company culture, your organizational culture, and it allows it to grow, because it can be a lot of fun. On that same lines with content, what we try to do is we do an 80-20 rule. An 80-20 rule is we connect with our clients 80% of the time, find out what their interests are, and then we also 20% of that time we market to them. That's the selling part. And nobody wants to keep going to a business page where they're sold to all the time. They want to be heard from. They want to know why people should go there outside of just for that business, and they want to connect, because at the end of the day, it's really about kind of marketing ties into sales, and we want to work with other people that we're comfortable with, we feel connected to. And you can do that, and you can be very genuine about that on your business through social media online. You just have to be open to it, and you have to have good content. The other is paid advertising. I get asked this a lot too, and it's, hey, I'm likes, and I want to post this specific tweet or Facebook post. And my question to them all the time is, what is your goal? What do you want as a customer? What do you want me to do when I spend $20? And usually right there, that stops everybody in their tracks, and it's like, I got to think about this. Do you want that person to call you? Do you want them to click a link that goes to your website for information? There has to be a call to action, or not necessarily. It could be something that you want to promote as far as a business accomplishment or goal, but that kind of gets back into the vanity area, and you want to be genuine to your customers at all times. So the one thing I believe in is, don't spend, at least on Facebook, don't spend over $20 a campaign. Based on the reach and the amount of money, you really need to make sure that you are very specific and understand how you're spending your money, and who you're going to, and what the reach is going to be. Because $20, you should target that to a specific area, because otherwise you could just get people from all over that don't really benefit you. You want people to actually see it that need to. All right. The other thing is company voice and culture. So the company voice and culture is important on social media, because you need to be consistent with that. And when I talk about that, it's mostly about political views, religious views. You can address those, but understand that in your business model, you might be targeting too specific, because then you know that if you go with this, if you start posting religious, that you might not necessarily get a lot of people, because that's a turnoff for them. If you start posting political views, you're going to isolate yourself as Republican, Democrat, or liberal, or green, or whatever. So you can do that, but you have to own it, and you have to be ready for the impact on your business that it's going to have. But give your business a culture, give it a voice that is unique to it. So if you're funny and playful, be funny and playful. If it's a serious business, then be serious, but know that you have a warm and an approachable culture too, so that people aren't nervous. So if you're in a different type of industry where a lot of people are just kind of hands-off, maybe some doctor kind of issues, banking, insurance, it could be a plethora of things, but give it a culture, make it stand out. You don't want to necessarily be like everybody else, but maybe in your business it's important to be. But to me, I always like to be unique. I like to be the outside-the-box person, and I think that customers online appreciate that, and I think they want to see something different. They want you to to see them in a different way. And if you start posting that way, then it'll help. And then the last thing on here is, the question that we get, the other factors is, do we keep it in-house? Do we work with someone like Harness Tech Ed? And the question there is, you weigh your options. And from a business standpoint, it's kind of simple. Does it make more sense to hire someone in-house than to do it? Are you at that level where you've gotten that big and you need someone full-time there with you all the time? There's definitely a possibility. We would love to get you there as a business. But there's also that as you start out and you're kind of an organization, does it make more sense for us not to have to pay and worry about taxes and Social Security and all that? Should we work with another organization? And if you start answering, yeah, let's do that, then the question then is, all right, so what does that look like and what does that mean? Well, the key thing is communication. If you work with people outside your organization, you have to have that trust factor and that communication where they can get a hold of you, you can get a hold of them, and you know that they're proactive. Very, very important. And I think that you get bids and you go out there and you find people that you think that would fit well with your company, that get your company culture, that get your business, and want to help your business grow. One of the things that we like is we want to make sure that we can justify ourselves. So we want to go out there and we want to make sure that we can help your business grow, because we kind of think like we're an employee. We're like a subdivision of your company, and we can kind of take a little bit of credit for bringing people there. Then it's up to you to close that out.
Sorry to interrupt, Tom, but we have just about a minute or two before we have to wrap up.
And that was perfect timing. So here's kind of our information right there, and we've got about 2 minutes for a question if we have it. Do we have any questions?
I don't see any questions. If you guys want to put in your questions, we have just a few minutes before it's going to actually cut us off. Feel free to contact Tom with anything else that you may need, and we will also would be happy to send out the presentation as well.
And I just want to say, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come and listen to this. And if you do have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm on Twitter, and my information's there, but it's @TomHarness. We're on Facebook, Harness Tech Ed. You can find us on all that. And our hashtag that we use is Turn the Light Bulb On, because that's what we try to do for your business.
All right, I believe that wraps it up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If we will address further questions, if you have any, feel free to give us a contact, and we can reach out to you as well. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Aaron.